Alright, watch fans, time for another Hotness Pick, and Wing is at it again. He's doing another twofer. You can get one if you like, but the better deal is to grab both. Then you've got two options, or maybe gift one. But what we've got is what Wing calls black, and I personally think is much more of a charcoal. I don't think he'd necessarily argue with me. I've got these set at kind of an odd angle because I want to show you the fact that both the subdials and the main dial do give you radiance that's been done on there, and I hope this camera really picks it up well. I won't know till I get in post-production, but you really get a two-tone effect that's going on here. The subdials are actually a different color, so in this particular case they are slightly darker. They stand out and pop a little bit more. This is option number one that is available to you. And personally, I happen to think that that one is the hotter of the two, but it is a tough choice because number two, as we carefully pan over here, is going to give you the blue option, which again, notice the subdials are a slightly different color than the rest of the dial that has been done on this particular timepiece. So a great look all the way around. Your choice. $88 for one, $150 will get you both, with a little extra special bonus if you tuned in or made your decision within 48 hours of the launch. Read directly below this, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you missed the 48 hours, well, you got to get on the email list and take action, because sometimes things have to go quickly. But that is your two options that you're going to get. Blue, which again in my opinion here is not your standard blue. It is a very unique shade. I'm not usually a blue guy, but I would wear that. Or what I think is just by a hair, as I pan back over here, the charcoal gray, or what Wing calls black. I'm going to use this one to do the detailed review, and that's what we're going to do now. So as we take a more detailed review of this timepiece, do want to point out, because of the finish, which we'll talk about in a second, I am fighting some really harsh glare issues, so I'm trying to keep that as minimized as possible while we take a look at this. The other one is, if I'm talking really fast, I'm trying to jam a lot of information into a very short amount of time. Some of the feedback that I have gotten, and by the way, you can send that feedback to info, I-N-F-O, at hotnesspicks.com. I read every single email that comes in, respond to most of them, especially as I have time, but some of the comments have been, do shorter videos. So you may not get as much content. We're going to do it in kind of a compressed version. So I'm going to be speaking really quickly. Obviously from Android, this is the Parma, model number AD686, the Parma. It is a chronograph, quartz version. We'll talk about the movement in a minute, because there are a few of the Parmas that are out there. Brief history on this is Wing did a cushion case design back around 2000-2001. It was really very small, and here just not too recently he decided to go ahead and do a revamped version of the cushion case and do it in a larger size. So what you're looking at, as you would normally measure this watch, again, you've heard me say this, right there is how you'd measure it, not including that function pusher, right at about 46 millimeters or so in case diameter. Now, that is going to mean that a lot of folks can wear this timepiece. Again, because of one of the things you've heard me talk about, I'm going to turn that this way to be able to show you the very short lug design that's been used on this watch. Short lug design means it's going to sit on top of the wrist easier and accommodate a wide variety of wrist sizes. Could ladies wear this? Yeah, but you are talking about a watch that is about 300 or so grams, maybe a little bit more than that, unsized. So it is a good size timepiece. And again, I'm fighting that glare. Let me turn it back this way so you can see it. Now, I have a personal affinity for this timepiece because I like what is known as bridge chronographs. or a bridged dial. What that means is there are only 2 subdials. Most of your chronographs come in with 3, sometimes more, subdials. The bridge, when you hear that term, means there's a subdial at the 6 and a subdial, and I pointed to 12, a subdial at the 12 and a subdial at the 6, effectively bridging the top to the bottom as far as the dial goes. Don't ask me why, it's just one of those things. It's like, why do you like blue? You know, you just do. I happen to like that. Now, in particular, what you are getting inside of this timepiece is from SII, Seiko Instruments. This is the VD51 caliber chronograph movement. So you are getting a chronograph secondhand here at the 12 o'clock position and a chronograph minute at the 6 o'clock position. Your constantly running second hand is your center second hand, meaning the one that is attached to the center cannon pinion attached right here that I am pointing to. It is done in a metallic red with the AD Android logo on the end of that. This is, by the way, the only hand that is not done in Superluminova. Your hour and minute hands, as well as your chronograph hands and your alternating size hour markers that have been done, are in Superluminova, the brightest of the luminescent paints or pastes, you'll hear it referred to either way, that is available. Really, you'd have to get into the tritium gas tubes to get anything that is brighter than that. Also, do note these hands do, when running, reset in opposite directions. Another cool thing that I really like. And then, of course, you can see your non-magnified standard date display at the 3 o'clock position. Now, notice one thing. One of the things that I'm fighting here is not only the reflection that I get off of this hardened mineral crystal, but that the bezel is done in a very high mirror polish. Almost the entire rest of the watch, probably 95% or more, is done in a matte finish. Okay, so you do get this to really help draw the eye to the timepiece, which is the way that I think it should work. Now, I said cushion case earlier in the little introduction that you saw. What do we mean by a cushion case? This is a little bit of a retro look, if you want to call it that, or a little bit of a throwback look. Would have been more prevalent in, I don't know, the 60s and 70s probably. What a cushion case means is that you've got a square case. Now it's a round bezel, fixed by the way, in case I didn't mention that. But you've got this round bezel that has been set onto a square case, and then the square is rounded. So if you'll notice, you start here, it goes up, and then rounds back. Then from here, it just repeats itself. So you have this rounded square, and the cushion part really comes into play on each of the corners. So you'll see this extra cushion that takes place here, 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 and over here. All right? That explains the cushion case. So it is a little bit of a retro look. It is a little bit of a different look because not everybody's doing it in this particular look. And like I said, Wing went from, I don't know, 2000, 2001 until what, 2013, I guess, maybe 14, no, 13, to really revamp that. So it is a little bit of a different look. But notice behind that, see high mirror polish, or let's use this side, probably will look better for you. High mirror polish, matte finish here, so a little bit of a two-tone look. Now, there are other high polish aspects that come into play on this, and they are minimal. What you're going to see is that very edge, and I want you to look right there, the edge of this bezel, done in high mirror polish. The side of the case in a high mirror polish, and then the edges of the bracelet on this watch as well. Let me move it over just a little bit so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about, is done in a high mirror polish. Everything else, pretty much all of the other top side surfaces on the watch, are done in a matte or brushed, not really matte, brushed finish, because there is technically a difference there. The bracelet also is very cool. Let me turn this all the way back around because of the way that Wing designed this. So what you're seeing is a single piece link design, but done inside of that. See how the center portion of those individual links are cut out, and inside of that is this rod, stainless steel rod, obviously all 316L stainless steel, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. But it adds in a nice design element, and again, this is 24 millimeters wide on the bracelet, and the bracelet is going to come in close to 5 millimeters in thickness on these links. As you can see, very thick, and as I said, 300 grams, 320, fully unsized. This is going to go out to a very large wrist size. You can see how it's really hanging down here towards the bottom of the screen. Going to fit very large wrists. You're going to have 3 or 4 micro adjustments that have been done on the bracelet, and it is a full tang diver's flip lock bracelet with dual push buttons to release that, and it does have the safety clasp that's been done on there, so very secure on the wrist. And it is 200 meters water resistant, by the way. Let's see if I can keep it at this angle for a moment here and keep the glare off of that. So you are getting a professional level of water resistance that has been done. Screw down crown, but not screw down function pushers, and don't always think the two necessarily have to go together. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so you can see that, and obviously the little added decoration that has been done on the crown. So screw down crown. Non-screw down function pushers mean that the design has been done on this so that the function pushers are not a weak link, so to speak, on this timepiece when it does come to water resistance. So you are going to get that professional level of water resistance, but added security gaskets and whatnot that have been done on this to give you 200 meters water resistance. Now, again, as you go to look at this, you can get one watch for $88, both watches for $150 to get these home to you. I think it's a fantastic deal. I think it looks great on the wrist, and if I remember, I will show you a quick clip of this watch on my wrist so you can see how it plays. But again, I love the way he's executed the dial. I love the fact that you get a little bit of a two-tone effect here. I love the bridge configuration. The SII VD51, which you may hear, by the way, because I got this question on Facebook just tonight, a TMI VD51, same movement. TMI refers to Time Module Incorporated, which is, I believe, based out of Hong Kong. They are the distributors for the SII or Seiko Instruments movements that have been used in this watch. So if you hear TMI VD51, it is the same thing. I think it's more technically correct to say SII, but take your pick. It's the exact same thing. TMI is a great company, very innovative in how they're doing things. Met with them both years that I went to the Basel Watch Fair. Great bunch of guys to be able to deal with. If you ever get over there, you know, be sure you stop by and talk to them. But a fantastic look on this timepiece. You cannot beat the pricing. A lot of you won't have a cushion case design in your collection. This is the opportunity to do it. Very unique and innovative bracelet. And then, of course, everything that comes with this. A Wing Liang design and the customer service and superior quality, quite frankly, to a lot of other watches that are out there. They really stand behind their product. So again, Wing is at it again. One watch or two, make your choice, blue or the charcoal black. Thanks for checking it out, and remember, read below this. Read this page that you're on very carefully. You've got 48 hours for a little bonus. I can't say what it is in the video, but hopefully you got it. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for supporting the Hotness Picks. Greatly appreciated. Grab this. It's a great deal. Thanks, folks. Alright, folks, here is the obligatory wrist shot that many of you had asked me to do. My wrist is about 8 inches in size. This watch, by the way, is unsized. So there you can take a look at it, how it fits on the wrist. Remember, I talked about those shortened lugs You can see how they do not hang off the sides of your wrist, so if you do have a smaller or larger wrist size, it will fit very, very comfortably. There you can see that bracelet again, but fits on the wrist very, very nicely. Love the cushion case design. Again, thanks for taking a look.